At some point, and I can't exactly tell you when, I stopped living my life and started performing it. Not deliberately, nobody chooses that. It happens the way most things happen to men. Gradually, quietly, when you're busy doing what comes next. You become the son they needed you to be, the partner that held it all together, the worker who showed up, always showed up. And somewhere in doing all of it, you lose the thread back to yourself. I built a good life. I want to say that clearly because this isn't a story about failure. The bills got paid, the expectations got met. Everyone around me had a version of me that worked for them. And I kept being that version because it was easier than asking the question underneath it. The one I was afraid of. Who am I when nobody needs anything from me? I didn't grow up being asked what I wanted. I grew up being shown what was expected. And there's a difference, a significant, life-altering difference, that nobody explains to you until you're standing in the middle of a life that looks exactly right and feeling like a stranger in it. That's not ingratitude. That's not weakness. That's what happens when a man spends 20 years building someone else's blueprint and wakes up one day inside a house that was never designed for him. I started journaling not because anyone told me to, not because I read it in a book or saw it in a video, because the noise in my head had gotten loud enough that I needed somewhere to put it. That wasn't another person I'd have to manage afterward. And that was the first time I sat down and wrote honestly. Not what I was supposed to feel, not what made sense, just what was actually true. And that's when something shifted. Not dramatically, not the way they describe breakthroughs in movies, just a small loosening, like something that had been held tight for a very long time took one honest breath. What I wrote that first night was this: I don't know who I am outside of what I do for other people. 6 words that I had never said out loud, never written down, never admitted to anyone, including myself. And seeing them on the page in my own handwriting made them real in a way that thinking never had. If you've never asked yourself that question, I want you to sit with it tonight. Not to answer it, just to ask it. Who am I outside of what everyone else needs me to be? The blueprint I've been given wasn't given with bad intentions. I want to be clear about that too. The people who handed it to me were doing what they knew, passing down the shape of a life that had worked for them, or that they had wished had worked for them, or that they believed was the only shape available. But a blueprint designed for someone else, no matter how well built, will never feel like home. And a man who lives inside it long enough starts to forget that he was ever capable of designing his own. I'm not going to tell you I have it figured out. I'm sitting here at this fire with the same questions I've been carrying for years. But they're my questions now. Not the ones I inherited, not the ones that were handed to me with the rest of the blueprint. They're mine. And there's something about owning your own questions, even the ones without answers, that feels more like living than any answer I was ever given by someone else's design. You were handed a blueprint too, and some of it fits, and some of it never did. The part that never fit, that's not a flaw in you. That's the part that's actually yours. If this found you at the right time, there's more where that came from. Link below.